Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the July 9th, 2024 meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Dubois? Yeah. Gary?
Here.
I should just do first names. Ms. Hirsch?
Here.
Mr. King?
Here.
Mr. Montano?
Here.
Mr. Soto?
Here.
And I understand that Mr. Wolf is en route, and Chairwoman Ferrarte. Oh, sorry, Mr. Einig. I missed you, sorry. You're here.
And I'm here, yes. Mr. Wolf is on his way, but in the meantime, we are going to get started. So, Ms. Hirsch, would you please step in for him?
Happy to, Madam Chair.
Okay, wonderful. So we had 4 items on this month's agenda. However, 624 to 626 Gulf Street is extended to next month, and 4143 Darina Place is postponed to next month. So if you're here for those items, you can come back next month. And in the meantime, we will begin with item number 1, Mr. Montana.
Thank you. 89 Morningside Drive, MBP 39/616/3 R 12.5. Scott Farquharson, I'm sorry if I, agent for Xeon. Thank you. Thank you. A little tongue-tied. And Bettina Thiel, owners, bearing section 4.1.4, front yard projection to 10.17, 10 feet 17 inches, whereas 21 feet permitted to increase size of deck, surveyed by Ron Wassemer, 4/30/24.
Good evening. My name is Scott Farquharson, 743 North Sycamore Avenue, Los Angeles, California. May I approach?
Yes.
Good evening. I work for Baybrook Remodelers, the contractor for this project. I represent Zenon Protopapas and Bettina Thiel, the homeowners. Our project is to construct a 4-foot by 15-foot front deck extension. The property is in an R10 zone. We are requesting a variance of section 4.1.4 front yard projection to 10.17 feet, where 20 feet is permitted, to increase the size of the existing deck. This property has an existing non-conforming structure. Both the home and the existing deck are over the required setbacks. The house has a front yard setback of 10.42 feet, where 25 feet setback is required. The existing front yard deck is at 14.17 setback, where the required setback is 21 feet. The proposed deck would end up having 3 inches more into the setback than the existing home. We would be willing to change the deck addition to 15 feet by 3.3 feet 9 inches, which would be the same as the existing home. At the last meeting, the board requested additional pictures and explanations of other options that would be acceptable. The options included the extending the deck towards the rear of the property, This is a hardship because of the location of the electric service. The National Electric Code and the Connecticut Building Code require a work area of 36 inches in front of the service panel and meter. Also, the meter shall be about 60 inches off the grade or working surface. This would be a major change. The code sections are 2020 NEC 110.26 and 2021 IRC sections E3405.1 and E3604.1. Pictures number 3 and 4 show the hardship. There was mention of just extending the deck to the rear with only a section from the stairs to the driveway. That would entail landscaping, including removing plantings that add a buffer and privacy to the neighbors. That is shown on picture 5. Pictures 1 and 2 show the deck location from the front yard and side yard. There was a mention of putting the deck at the rear of the property. Picture number 5 and 6 show that the rear of the home is the garage with no access to the living space as well as an elevation change. The last 2 pictures show 2 next-door properties that also encroach and are over the required setbacks. We believe this minor extension meets both the overall character of the neighborhood and gives the homeowner a modest but rewarding addition to the quality of life. Thank you for your consideration. Any questions?
Mr. King?
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good.
Excellent. Did you say that you would take the deck back, what, about another foot?
3 inches, no.
3 inches?
So it would meet the same setback as the home. It would be equal to the setback of the
It
home.
would be equal to the 10.42?
Yes, that is correct.
All right. Thank you.
To clarify, the porch, if you're pulling off 3 inches, would still extend beyond the home where
No,
it is
it will not.
adjacent.
I'm sorry.
Where it is adjacent to the home. The left side of the house comes closer to the street, and that is the setback you're referring to when
That
you
is
say.
correct, yes. That is correct.
So where the porch meets the house, it's still coming beyond the front of the house
It is.
by 3
correct.
feet 9 inches.
That is correct. And the further part closer to the driveway is a little bit further away from the setback. It's the shape of the lot. It's pie-shaped.
Any other questions? Stephen, can you please zoom in more on the house and deck on that plan?
Okay, first of all, this black line points to the deck, which I called out in yellow so it pops out a bit. So this is the existing deck, is this box right here. This is the addition highlighted in yellow. The heavy black line is the lot line.
So Stephen, so he's talking about the 3 inches, point that 3 inches out, where, on the house where the 3 inches is.
The
Same.
original proposal, Bill, is 4 feet. Now they want to go to 3 feet 9 inches.
Okay,
Yeah,
but how does that match the house? I'm not seeing that.
It matches the house on the
Where it
left.
says 10.42?
Yes.
I guess if you draw a straight line from this corner of the house,
Okay.
straight across.
Gotcha.
Exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
Following the arc of the lot line, this point and this point of the deck, once it's moved back 3 inches, would meet up.
Looking at photo number 2,
Yes.
which is meant to show the landscaping on the side of the porch, but I'm also seeing landscaping on the front of the porch. Wouldn't that
Yes,
need to be
the-
removed for this addition?
The landscaping in the front is low, so you get a great view of the ocean in front, whereas the landscaping at the back is more of privacy. So to the right of the existing deck, picture number 2, there's It shows more plantings that are privacy. Excuse me a second. Okay, I believe it's picture number... Picture number 5. Picture number 5 shows looking up the driveway towards the garage, and you can see the big, it's almost a tree there, which would have to get removed.
Any other questions? Okay, is there anyone speaking in favor of this application? Please come forward if you're speaking in favor and state your name and address for the record.
Bettina Thiel, I'm the homeowner, co-homeowner. One of our neighbors sent in a letter in support, and I just wanted to point out.
Do you have a copy of that letter?
You should have a copy of the letter.
Did we receive that? Yeah. Oh, is it in here?
It should be in the folder.
Okay, thank you. Sure, Mr. Soto. Ms. Thiel, a question for you. Thank you.
How many feet do you have from the edge of the deck to your driveway? Looks about 8 feet in the picture,
I never measured that.
approximately.
From the edge of the deck to the driveway is not 8 feet.
So what do you think it is?
Maybe 5? Do you know?
Can you scale that on the?
Yeah, I'm doing that right now.
Okay.
All right, so the driveway's here, that's the curb of the driveway.
That looks like over 10 feet if it's 1 inch to
At the closest point,
It's hard to tell because it is so
3.73.
overgrown.
So it's about 9 feet?
just under 9, yeah,
Okay.
8.75.
So other than moving that tree, you could get the same amount if you moved that deck towards the driveway and you wouldn't need a variance.
There's a huge house that went up next door. That's the last thing I want to do.
But you really don't have, your shrubs are below the deck height, other than that tree.
We have, there's holly trees, too.
I mean, if you look at
And-
picture number 2, there's really not much landscaping there, you know.
There's greenery that shade
And,
that,
well, you could put some arborvitaes there in the 4-foot section, the fast-growing ones. They'd be 8 feet in no time.
I don't know that there will be enough space if we
Well, it's,
extend the deck to that,
you have 9 feet. If you
to
extend the
that
deck,
corner.
if you extend the deck 4 feet,
There-
you'd have 4.5 feet roughly for planting.
There's a little retaining wall there.
Yeah, I see that.
Can I bring something up? Excuse me? The setback is all the way back at the rear end of the deck. It's only 3 or 4 feet. Do you see that curve line? That is the setback. So you're really encroaching another setback. You're not within the setback itself. See the dotted line? That is the setback of the property.
This is the front
Yes.
yard. This is the front
So
yard.
extending the deck towards the driveway is another variance.
This-
Now you're,
This dashed line is the front yard setback.
yes, that is the setback.
This dashed line is the side yard.
Stephen, you can come out to the side without a variance, right? Or you still need it?
Well, you either get a variance for this or you get a variance for
Okay,
that. Pick your poison.
gotcha. Okay.
Any other questions? Is there anyone else speaking in favor of this application? Is there anyone opposed to this application? Any more questions from the board? Okay, then this hearing is closed. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for keeping it open.
89 Morningside Drive, I move to approve the request, vary section 4.1.4 front yard projection to 10.17 feet where 21 feet permitted to increase size of deck, survey by R. Wassemer, 4/30/24.
Does that include the, him taking it back 3 inches?
What is it? Okay, so what are we going to change this to?
No, it does not.
So we got to add 3 inches to 10.17, right? So 10.47? Is that right, sir?
Is that correct with the point in there? Is that a fraction or are those inches?
If you want to add the condition, you're shaving off 3 inches off the depth, so the overall dimensions would be 3 feet 9 by 15.
Okay, why don't we do it that way, then, Mr. Soto? We'll read it as is with the condition of pulling back 3 inches to 3.9 rather than 4.
All right, so I'll reread it.
Yes, please.
89 Morningside Drive, I move to approve with conditions of the addition to the deck will be 3 foot 9 inches by 15 feet. The request to vary section 4.1.4 front yard projection to 10.47. I'm going to say 10.47.
Yeah. That would be 3 feet 9
Yeah.
inches, not 3 feet 9, not 3.9 inches.
Right.
Right.
So I read it, I did it right? Okay. Where 21 feet permitted to increase size of deck, surveyed by R. Wassemer, 4/30/24.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Open to discussion.
Well, I feel they satisfied all they can't go to the back because of the meters, and they can't go to the driveway because they also need a variance, so I'm okay with this.
I don't think they're breaking any new ground in the neighborhood either. The next door neighbor seems to be closer, if not just as close as this proposal here.
I disagree. We're not going from no deck to a deck. We're going from a generous deck to a more generous deck. The house and the deck are already in the setback. We're not in the habit of increasing nonconformities, rather decreasing or eliminating them. Sure, I see the hardship in going back. If you go to the side, you need another variance, but I'm still not seeing the hardship for the addition at all.
Well, actually, Sarah, the deck is not in the setback. The existing deck isn't. That's what I thought.
Yes, it is. That's the setback line.
Yeah,
The whole thing is in this, that's the front yard setback line right there,
and where's Morningside Drive?
down at the bottom of the screen.
Oh, okay.
The entire thing, nearly the entire thing is already in the setback.
Stephen, zoom out a little bit.
Again, just...
No, if the dotted line is the setback.
Just for technical clarification, the heavy line is the lot line. This dashed line is the front yard setback.
So the deck is out of the setback.
This box is the existing deck. This box is the
And
proposed.
Bill, everything needs to be behind that dotted line.
Right, but the existing deck, you said the existing deck is within the setback.
It is in the setback, look at it.
Oh, it's in the setback.
Yeah,
setback
it's
line.
way in the
Gotcha,
setback.
okay.
The existing
It's-
deck,
it's
most of the
80% in
existing
the
deck
setback.
is in the setback.
Gotcha.
Any other comments? Okay, we'll take it to a vote. Mr. King,
With the motion.
Mr. Soto,
With the motion.
Mr. Montano,
Against the motion.
Ms. Hirsch,
Against the motion.
and I'm against the motion. The motion fails. Okay, on to item number 2. Since Mr. Wolf is now present, he will be stepping in to vote as the regular member. Thank you so much, Ms. Hirsch. Okay, Mr. Montano, item number 2.
830 West River Street, MVP 106/914 /9, R.A. Robert Letty, owner, varying sections 4.1.1.1 to allow accessory structure in the front yard, survey by J. Dennison, 6805.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This is clearly my first time, so I didn't realize there were so many of you. May I?
Sure. That's all right. Thank you so much. And sir, when you head back to the microphone, please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Robert Leedy, and I live at 830 West River Street in Milford. And we have purchased a house back in September of 2019, discovered a few years after that we had an unpermitted, non-conforming installation of a propane tank in the front yard that didn't meet code. This was discovered when we brought a propane company, Hokan Gas, to come out and set up an arrangement where they would fill it. So they were the ones that brought it to my attention. We had, with the folks from Hokan, we've gone around the house to look for alternatives where we didn't need to seek a variance, and there really are none that don't involve making modifications to the house. So since most of the tank would be covered by shrubbery, there is one area that would work where it would comply with fire safety, and that's where I have the little red square or rectangle on the picture. It was brought to my attention, why don't I put it on the back deck, and there is a ramp it's an ADA ramp in the back deck that would prevent us from being able to put the tank there. And there are two electrical outlets in that area that would prevent that. So I'm seeking permission to install a 24-inch wide by 40-inch tall propane tank for a ventless fireplace that is our only source of backup heat should we lose power in the winter. Thank you.
Thank you. So just a couple of questions. You said that it was an unpermitted, non-conforming existing propane tank in
Correct.
that area or somewhere else in the yard?
Beg your pardon?
Is it there where you're proposing to put it, or where
No.
was the tank previously?
It's on the same side.
So
but
still
it was
in the
put,
front?
It was put right next to the entrance to the basement, right next to the door.
Okay, so it was still in the front of the house there?
Correct.
Okay. And that was there when you bought the house in 2019?
Yes. It was a 100-pound tank, and I'm too old to lift 100-pound tanks and bring them over to Tractor Supply.
Okay. And there's no other place to put it but in the back where the ramp gets in the way?
That was what was suggested, but it's more than the ramp. It's electrical outlets that are too close to where the proposed,
Right.
well, where the tank would be if it were in the back.
Okay.
So because propane settles, and I wasn't aware of this, you can install a tank under a window. But, and this is the only place that wouldn't involve, in other words, if we were to install it on the opposite side of the house, we would have to seal up the basement windows because it would be too close to a basement window.
Sure.
And we have a mini split, the outside unit of a mini split that's also on that side of the house.
Okay. So when you bought the house, it was already in the front, and there's nowhere else to put it that doesn't interfere with the existing structure of the home?
Correct.
Okay, great. Any other questions for our applicant? Yes, Mr. Montano.
Are you saying it's a 100-pound tank, so 100-gallon? Have you,
It's not what's there now, or what was there when we moved in, was a 100-pound tank.
what do you want to put in, sir?
It's a
It's probably a 50-gallon tank.
56-gallon, 24-inch wide, 40-inch tall.
Have you spoken to the fire marshal's office?
Have not.
Gary, I don't think they get involved in single family, only multifamily.
I had to down at the boatyard when I put in my 2 tanks, anchor it and everything.
Yeah, but I think you were in a flood zone, that's why.
Yes, for the anchoring, but I'm saying for the fire marshal to sign off. I
Well-
don't know, I'm only asking.
When
I
I
think
dealt
those
with,
Holcon Gas probably knows the code better than the fire, you know what I mean? Because that's their specialty.
Well, it was the gas company who knew that that was wrong to begin with, so if it needs to be signed off by the fire marshal, then that will still need to happen whether we approve it or not. So, we still need to do our part, and overseeing what the fire department does is not our purview. So I think, very good question, thank you. But I think we can make this decision outside of that.
I worked with the building department and the fire department in the past when we had legalized a pre-existing non-permitted space that was in the basement, and the fire department said they weren't involved because it was a single-family residence.
Okay, great, thank you. Mr. Montano, another question?
Morningside, to the best of my knowledge, has Southern Connecticut Gas.
This isn't Morningside,
West
this
River
is
Street.
West River, I'm
Street,
sorry, I beg your pardon.
which has no gas, and boy,
Has
do
no
I wish
gas.
it did.
That answers my question.
Yeah.
And I thank you, I apologize.
No problem.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, to the empty room, is
One
there?
question.
Yes, Mr. King.
Are you planning on putting like a concrete slab down where that propane tank's going to sit?
I believe they're planning on putting on a slab to set it on.
All right, and it looks like it's got pretty good bush cover right now. Like,
Correct.
Now, is that, are those going to be just as green come winter time?
Well, the deciduous trees won't be quite as green. They'll be missing their leaves, but the evergreens will. I believe I have another picture here.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
While we wait for the photo, I will ask if there's anyone in the room in favor of this application. And if there's anyone opposed to this application. Okay, great.
Here we go.
Wonderful.
If I may approach again.
Yes, please.
I only have one picture, though. Without any foliage. And it's kind of got a mock-up.
Okay. Yes. Ms. Hirsch?
Sir, I wonder if, and perhaps I missed it at the beginning, I wonder if you would share the name of the company that made you aware of this so that their
Holcon
due diligence can be noted and others may look to use them as well, given that they're looking to solve problems and are able to identify the zoning regulations.
Sure, Holcon Gas.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions for our applicant? Okay, with no more questions for the applicant, this hearing is closed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Soto?
830 West River Street, I move to approve the request to vary section 4.1.1.1 to allow accessory structure in front yard, survey by J. Dennison, 6805.
Okay, discussion? Oh, do we need a second? Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mr. King. Okay, discussion?
Well, it was in the front already, it was, the tank that was there was twice the size of this one, and, he's putting it in a good spot, and I don't have a problem with it.
I don't either. It's already there. Everything you said, Mr. Soto, necessary function inside the house. Okay, for a vote then. Mr. King,
With the motion.
Mr. Wolf,
With the motion?
Mr. Soto,
With the motion.
Mr. Montano,
With the motion.
and I'm with the motion. Motion passes. Thank you. Okay. New business. Any new business? Any old business? Staff updates? Got anything? All right, yes. I will say we were supposed to have Attorney Burcham here tonight to speak to us, but he unfortunately had to cancel last minute. Promises he will be here next month. So we have that to look forward to then.
Sarah, can I ask that Meg sends out a notice to remind me, because I completely forgot about that?
Well, we'll definitely send a reminder.
Or you send
He
us
was,
an email to remind us?
Yeah. It seems like he's more interested in coming after the meeting than before, so we won't need to meet early. So this would have been a good one to come to. He didn't have to wait very long, but we'll see him next month. And
So
yes, I will send an email.
So it's before the meeting?
No, it's going to be after the
Oh,
meeting.
okay, that's fine. Then you don't have to send a notice.
Exactly. Okay, great. Did everyone review last month's minutes? We need a motion to approve.
Make a motion to approve the minutes?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and do we have, next month, we have Gulf Street and Darena Place. Anything else?
There's one that's been received and one that was discussed, so I'd say at least 2 more.
2 more, so we're looking at 4 right now. Okay, wonderful. Anything else? All right, well then, meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.